This is the ACME X Lounge, ACME, your favorite local supermarket, and this is Johnny McGuire. I'm Raz on the radio. This is Colin.
Hey, Colin.
Say hi to Colin. Colin, all right? So let's talk about Johnny McGuire here. Last year, exactly at this time, I got a call the night before XTU ski day. And they're like, well, we got a problem. I'm like, what's the problem? Like, well, Walker McGuire broke up.
Yeah. Which some people thought was one dude or an Irish bourbon anyway. So.
Some people did think it was one dude. But it was you.
Yeah, it was me.
It was Walker and another guy. So they're like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, oh, wait, 24 hours from this thing. Like, Johnny, you want to come up anyway? So Johnny's like, yeah. I kind of got nothing to do now. So Johnny came up. And he played for us, and it was a great ski day, and it's always fun at Jack Frost Big Boulder. And, you know, this guy's a trooper, man. He really, were you heartbroken? So when a band breaks up, are you heartbroken?
You know, you're heartbroken. I think you're a little just shocked and trying to figure out your next move. And my next move was to go to a ski resort.
And you played through it.
Yeah,
and the folks from Everett played with you.
Beers and stuff, and got to play with Everett and meet some people up here, so it was cool.
And we drank whiskey.
We did, Irish whiskey.
He almost missed his plane. So we helped you heal, Johnny.
We did.
For those of you that don't know Johnny McGuire, he's from Kansas City, ladies and gentlemen. And what is happening?
Big Andy Reid, too.
Yes. So you like the Andy Reid?
Yeah, even though he, you know, I've heard a story about a birthday cake, you know, he's...
It would take too long to tell that story.
Way too long.
Right here.
They don't even know
but
who it has to do with.
You talked about time management, the way he runs the game. We had that problem here for a long time.
Yeah, but I think Mahomes is a little different of an equation. It might change the time management. He might have too much time on his hands now with all the touchdowns we're going to score. So. Famous last word. I don't have a tattoo yet of the Super Bowl on my arm, so I haven't jinxed it that much. But
good, don't do that. All right, so you have a little vested interest in the game this weekend. That's awesome. So Kansas City. So you live your life out there. Mm-hmm. Are you a farming kid?
You know, I'm actually from Kansas City, the city part, more of the suburbs. I grew up probably 15 minutes from downtown Kansas City, and I'm on the Kansas side. And Kansas City is actually split in the middle between Kansas and Missouri. So when people will be like, "Are you from Kansas City, Missouri?" I'm like, "I'm actually from Kansas City, Kansas," and it kind of confuses them. But I grew up 2 minutes from Missouri, and basically the difference is if you grew up in Kansas, you could go to public school. If you grew up in Missouri, you kind of went to private school where I was. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. And the gas was cheaper in Missouri, so we'd go there.
Really?
Cheaper gas and cheaper beer.
That's
about a 5-minute drive. It was worth it.
So how do you go to Nashville? So how do you learn that?
Well, actually, I went to University of Kansas, and I'm still paying off those student loans, so I don't know if that was the best move, but got a journalism degree and kind of used that time to stall and finally make that jump of, hey, I want to go move to Nashville and write songs and try to be a songwriter and artist. And I just kind of knew that Nashville was where they appreciated the song the most. And so between New York, you know, and LA and Nashville, that was kind of an easy choice, I guess.
Right. So you get down there, you form your first group, you get together, you have some songs on the radio.
Yeah.
That falls apart. Now, let's talk about this part of the journey. So in the last year, you start reforming who you are as a songwriter and a singer. You start hanging out with some great folks. You run and you write a song, Chevys and Fords. Billy Ray Cyrus gets involved, who just won a Grammy this past weekend. And he's been put back on the map with Lil Nas and that whole scene there.
Wild.
So you're on the fringe of that. So talk about the influence of that.
So yeah, Billy and I actually met back before the Old Town Road stuff happened, and he had heard that song and loved it and wanted to do it actually with Walker McGuire, my previous band. And so when the band broke up, he hit me up and was like, "It's a shame because I really wanted to do this. Why don't we do this as a first project with you? And then while you're recording your own music and getting ready to do that, you can come out and play some shows with me." And so it was a really big blessing, and I kind of got to be a fly on the wall for Lil Nas and him and see the record-breaking song it was. And all of our interviews had to do with Old Town Road, which is cool, you know. But we had a great time, and I got to tour the country and ride on Billy Ray's bus, which I don't think I've even comprehended yet what that was even like. In 10 years, I'll look back and think, man, that was pretty cool. So
Can you share a bus story, or see, the bus is sacred ground, so I don't know if you can share a bus story.
Billy's just he's just an awesome, brilliant dude. He has these crazy ideas that are so left field, but they work, and there's a reason why he's been around for like 3.5 decades.
Sure.
You know? So I don't know. It's just there's too many to count. Once the camera goes off, I'll tell you some stories.
That's awesome. So, from your point of view, not too long ago, you and Nas are in the same area. You're songwriters, you're young, you're trying to make it. Talk to us a little bit about watching the phenomenon of a global, international song that's still probably on the charts. I mean, we could probably go look it up and find it still.
2, I think,
yeah, and it's still streaming and selling. Like, talk about watching that happen from somebody you know.
Yeah, my first example of that was Sam Hunt, because I knew him a little bit from songwriting before he became an artist and blew up, and that was kind of that first bit of it. And
Right.
then I would say Old Town Road was the max that you could get from that.
Sure.
What was interesting to me was the fact that the behind the scenes of it all, like with Billy and his management and the family, like for how famous they are and how big that song was, they had the same everyday problems that any other artist would have, and it, for him, it was a really big growth change too, because like the last, I think, really big hit he had in music, besides the filming stuff he's done, was probably Some Gave All and It Could Break Your Heart. I mean, it really made an impression.
Sure.
And so he had to learn, like with his team, basically, let's go back to how we worked in 1992, and basically on week 10 they were like, this has been a blessing. I can't believe we got week 10, and then week 15, they were just like, I can't believe, we're at week 15. And then week 19 or whatever, it was just like, all right, are we ever going to do Chevys and Fords, or is this song just going to go the rest of the year? So, but, it was a phenomenon, and I feel like a movement. Like, if you would have told me, before this year that Billy Ray Cyrus would have the hottest rap verse of 2019, I would have not believed you, and he did. So who knows what can happen, but.
It's an interesting thing that's happening in country music, and we're watching this as fans and people that work in the industry. Dan and Shay right now are on several different charts. Just 2 weeks ago, they were #1 on the country charts and the top R&B top 40 chart, and now they're coming up on adult contemporary and other charts as well. So it's interesting from a country perspective what's happening globally. Little Nas, on one end, Dan and Shay on the other end with somebody like Justin Bieber. It's amazing where we can go with all of this, isn't it?
For sure, and I think that's the thing. Like country music and pop music, I would say, are the two biggest genres in the country now.
Absolutely.
And with the growth of that genre, you're going to have a little bit of broadening of the brand of country music. And you're going to have other people come in that like country music that maybe didn't like it before, and they may have come from a more pop background. And so I think with the territory of how big country music's gotten and the reach, that's kind of, what happens naturally with music. So it's pretty cool.
It's interesting. This forum that we have here with like the Acme X Lounge. You remember Taylor Hicks? You guys remember Taylor Hicks in the room?
Yeah.
Okay, was very big with American Idol.
Yeah.
One of the things that I always notice about guys like that, Billy Ray had done it for us before, and some other folks, and it always goes back down to, and the root of country music is what we have right here. 2 guitars, and Taylor, I couldn't believe when he honky-tonked in our studio, and Billy Ray came in and just honky-tonked in our studio, and then what you're gonna see next is these two guys just honky-tonking up here. It always goes down to the guitars and the audience and the people and the connection that the music makes, and you always got to learn it, and that's the craft right there, right?
Yeah,
what happens coming out of this box.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It all starts with a song, so that's what they say.
Guitar or piano?
Really, it could just be a melody you're whistling, or something you're singing in the shower that morning, and then you drive by something on the way to your right and you don't have an idea yet, but maybe your roommate was sleeping on the couch because he got in a fight with his girlfriend that night, and so you're sitting there going, I'm sleeping on the couch, and you just write a song a day about it, and so it can really just come from anywhere, and that's what drives Nashville. So,
Do you write from the melody or the experience?
I think both. It's really hard also when you sit down with like 2 or 3 people to kind of make it all your experience. It's going to be a mix of the people you're writing the songs with. And
Right.
when people say, what's that song about? I'm like, well, it's a third about, some stuff I was going through, but I'm guessing what he or she was going through that I wrote it with might have been thinking about something different. So that's kind of the cool thing, that's why a lot of people I think can relate to country music, is because the people who are writing them are all coming from different perspectives too. And
so you got a new project, and there's a song on there called "I Can't Even," which is the thing. Like, I'm so frustrated.
I didn't know what it meant at first.
I can't even. I can't even right now talking about
my
it.
sisters and my girlfriend, and I've heard them say that before. Like, I can't even, and I'm like, what? And then I heard the song and I got it, and so I had to cut it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's gonna be my first single actually. So.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah.
Johnny's a great guy, and this is a Nashville story right here. Can we talk to Colin for 2 seconds?
Please.
I always feel like the guy that comes along with the singer.
And Colin's actually
Colin,
a very talented dude too. And we'll
tell us about, where are
doing
you from, Colin?
Missouri, middle of nowhere, Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where the beer is cheaper and so is the gas.
Yeah.
And so how do you get to Nashville?
Moved there right after high school. Been there for like 4 years now. Met him like the second week that I was there. So, full circle moment. This is
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually came up to me after a writer's round, and generally in Nashville, someone comes up to you, and you were like 18 at the time. I'd had some drinks, some Irish whiskeys that night.
Again.
Generally, you're not gonna give someone your cell phone number right away. You're gonna be like, yeah, I'll come watch you play, and then if I like you, we'll write. But I was just like, yeah, dude, here's my number. Call me. And that was one of the dudes I was glad that I did.
Yeah.
for sure.
Because there's some dudes you don't want to give your number to
Yeah,
hang out in Nashville bars.
Like Rob.
Keegan randomly text Johnny.
You never hit me up to write this. I'm good.
I never randomly give my number. Yes, you did.
Well, it's good to see you, and thank you for coming here today. Johnny, always good to see you. It's always great. Hang out for a second. We're going to have a performance coming up here in the ACME X Lounge on 92.5 XTU.